Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy will be in Washington, D.C. today, making his first foreign visit of any type since Russia's invasion of his country more than 300 days ago. Zelenskyy is set to address Congress just as a $1.8 billion military aid package is set to be revealed. It's expected to include a Patriot missile battery and precision-guided bombs provided by the U.S. for Ukraine. We're now joined by Andrij Dobriansky. He's Director of Communications for the Ukrainian Congress Committee of America. Andrij, good to see you again. It's been a little while. I know you just returned from a trip in Ukraine. You were there for a few days. Can you tell us what it's like on the ground there? I mean, we're almost approaching a year since Russia invaded.
Yeah, and almost every month there's another hardship to overcome. So I do really encourage people who want to understand Ukraine to visit Ukraine, and that does include perhaps members of Congress who will be joining and taking their oath in the beginning of January. You need to come back. There's a bunch of ambassadors, actually, Ukrainian ambassadors who are traveling back to the country to understand what it's like to live in a country where there are no street lights because there's not enough electricity to run, a city full of lights. Nobody's really going to be decorating their Christmas tree because you can't run that extra power. You don't know when your cell phone's going to be working, your Wi-Fi is going to be on. You don't know when your hot water is going to be on. And that's specifically because Russia is targeting those things to make life difficult for Ukrainians.
What do you say about the timing of President Zelensky's trip to the U.S.?
Well, it is an auspicious timing of the 300th day of the war. We are already thinking about that one-year anniversary of this full-fledged aggression, as we say in Ukraine, because, of course, the war has been going on for 8 years. It will be 9 in February, as well as the fact that we saw President Putin try to do something similar by reaching out to his closest ally, Belarus. I think it's a big, thumb in the nose of Putin to show the world that if Zelenskyy wants to visit the White House, all he has to do is call up his friend Joe Biden and come directly to the White House. Whereas Putin is a pariah and all he can manage is perhaps one of his neighboring states. He probably couldn't even get an invitation to go to Hungary at this point.
Let's talk about a little bit more on our exclusive interview. He spoke to Chris Cuomo last night about how critical American support is, not just materially, but in spirit. Let's listen.
We want peace. And that's why we are fighting for our houses, our children, our families. That's it. So people have to understand. You can't say that the war is over. Because Russia, because the Kremlin and their president, he always wants to come back, come back, because it's his ambitious plan. I don't think that is healthy plan. Yes. So, but anyway, so we have to be strong. We can't be strong without the world. We can't be strong without United States, especially society. Of course, President Biden, Congress, 2 parties, they support us, and thank you so much. But anyway, without Americans, just ordinary people, without their understanding what's going on in Ukraine, we will not win.
And he's speaking to everyday Americans, saying that the country needs overall support. But is the support for Ukraine among Americans waning?
I don't find that. And, America is a large country. So I speak to our communities in all 50 states on a regular basis. You don't find that on the local level. You see mayors, governors, county executives all coming out to Ukrainian events, all saying that we need to stand with Ukraine to the very end. Yeah, we hear some squabbles in the press about what's happening in Congress. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, Congress does the right thing and does pass the legislation that's needed to keep replenishing the supplies to Ukraine. So at this point, we can point to Putin that no matter what he likes to amplify on his networks, the United States is standing with Ukraine. And, I'll just testify to every local and state and federal official that talks to me. The United States is in this for the long haul.
All right. Andrij Dobriansky, thank you very much for joining us here on Morning in America.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.